Watch the entire video, my lovely viewers, from start to finish, to get the whole thing. Without wasting much of your time, let's get right into it.
This is DJ Mutati exclusive.
Hi lovely viewers, it's me again, your one and only Mutati Mpundu. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time on my channel, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel by hitting the subscribe button down below. Turn the bell icon to join the notification squad. Don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment. Tell me what you think about this video in the comment section below. I'll be super glad to hear from you lovely viewers.
After losing power, what is your strategy for rebuilding party unity and restoring public confidence ahead of the general elections? Now that you have bounced, you have really been firmly put in there as the Secretary General after the coming of Mao Sampa.
Well, I think you have paid attention to the response the Zambian people have given in relation to the reconciliation appeal. The Zambian people have resolved clearly, and you can affirm that. One, the Zambian people have not accepted that President Lungu is not eligible in 2026. That is clear. Even the UPND themselves have realized that they made a mistake to have allowed the fraudulent activities around the judiciary to have some of the judges in the Concord hounded out in the manner they were hounded out, just because they stood firm that the decision they made prior to 2021 election, that President Lungu was eligible, was a decision made on terra firma in relation to the law. And therefore, their attempt to have them persuaded to vacate that position, when it failed, the only option was that we have to find a reason to get them out. And while they got them out, they were taken to the Judicial Conference Authority, and the conference was that they made a decision to have Edgar Lungu declared eligible, and therefore that's an offense. I mean, in a literal sense, if you take strict, interpretation. Okay. And then the people who were appointed to become constitutional court judges, a number of them, questions have been raised about qualifications, questions have been raised around proximity to the appointing authority and all those things, which have not adequately been answered. So the Zambian people know that what happened in a Concord, truly speaking, can only be perceived and seen from the political maneuvers as promised by Mr. Hakainde that is going to start playing Mingarato. Make sure that people are moving like this, I turn back and hold them by their neck. That's basically what is at play. The demands of the Zambian people is that Lungu should not be defranchised through Mingarato. Let Lungu be defeated through the expression of the Zambian people, whether Zambians don't appreciate his leadership, especially that they have compared with these people who are in office today. That's one of the demands of the Zambian people. Two, the Zambian people are pissed off with a clear, UPND-sponsored arrangement to destroy, Patriotic Front. By God's grace, and also owing to the, effective leadership of President Lungu, which is quite subtle but effective, and of course also the leadership of the collective, whether it is Honorable Given Wind as Vice President, and the Central Committee, members of Parliament, and everybody else, because what happened a few days ago is a sum total of the efforts of different individuals, some of which are not, they are out there. We may not mention their name, but they are concerned with the trajectory the country is taking, and therefore they felt that they needed to play a role to bring some level of sanity within the opposition, within Patriotic Front, so that as we go towards 2026, Zambians are not confused around the choice they need to make between the failed project of UPND and the opposition. So we are very determined. You are saying, asking a personal question as Secretary General, what are you going to do? The result of what you are saying is basically speak to the fact that there are already efforts in that regard. And I can tell you, we are determined to make sure that there's unity in PF. We are determined to make sure that even the alliance that we are part of, the Tonse Alliance, there is unity. And we are also determined to make sure that in our engagement with other political parties in the opposition, there is also unity, because Zambian people are demanding that they are desperate for change in 2026, and all of us in the opposition must be patriotic enough to put aside our personal interests and narrow interests, either partisan or otherwise, to look at the interests of the Zambian people. It draws me back to the point I was trying to make earlier. Zambia problem is that the majority of politicians are mostly opportunists. We need to begin to have an honest conversation among ourselves. To start weeping, first of all of us as politicians, to love our country more than we love ourselves. Be ready to die for the country. Ready to die for your country, for the love of your country. Sacrifice your life for the love of your country.
Maybe the Secretary General
before you
should also...
me,
Okay.
This is very crucial.
Okay.
To die for your country because you love your country. And be ready to go that way if it means it will be able to redeem the country. If we proceed on the trajectory of advancing personal interest, the inevitable is what is going to happen. We will reach a point where we disintegrate because personal interests have prevailed over national interest. Personally, I'm praying, but I have also begun to hear voices among ourselves and from outside who are saying, even when it comes to policy, we don't need to try and prove that we have fresh ideas. Because if you create a cocktail, Mr. Collins, a cocktail of good policies under Kaunda, good policies under Chiluba, good policies under Mwanawasa, good policies under Rupia Banda, good policies under Michael Sata, good policies under Dr. Edgar Lungu. Even this failed fellow called the HH, if you are objective and patriotic, you may find there could be one or two good things. You put all that together. You don't need to manufacture new ideas. That cocktail is enough put together to advance development at a faster rate like never before. Because we, as a country, have developed a culture of rubbishing everything. You have, for example, Dr. Chiluba come, all the good things of UNIP were shelved. And then Manasa comes, there is some kind of rivalry and so on. All the good things of Chiluba shelved. Rupia Banda comes into place. Somehow you find that all the Magrande and other people who were in whatever, and the ideas shelved. Michael Sata comes with all his brilliant ideas, infrastructure and so on. For a larger part of his presidency, all the good ideas of MMD under the three presidents are all shelved. This one who is even in office today, unfortunately, him has even been attempting to look like he's the first president ever in the Republic of Zambia. That is lack of patriotism. It has been one of the greatest catalysts for getting us stuck on one point without developing. The new leadership that should emerge after this scandal and scandalous government that we have in office, we need not to have leaders who promise new things. We need leaders who look back historically and be able to see where did we miss it. Today, I want to take this opportunity to appeal to all politicians, especially in opposition. Let's raise the bar. I call upon those that can remember off the cuff, whether it is, in this case, obviously, the leading leader is President Edgar Lungu. Whether it is those in opposition, I can remember, is it, who can I think of? Whether it's EFF, Mwenda, whether it is, Harikalawa, whether it is, Fred Membe, whether it's KBF, whether it is those who are within Tonse and those who are out there. Let's rise above this optimism and begin to focus our energies towards the bigger picture. Zambia deserves better.
But indeed, Honorable,
like somebody said to me,
Honorable, just for us to emphasize this, if we are to be having honest discussions, if we are really supposed to have the honest, difficult discussions around us to air out issues that are especially contentious, we should be alive to the fact that the courts in this country have ruled that Edgar Lungu is ineligible to contest in future elections. Why then are we still riding on him as the flag bearer for the PF? What is it that you are telling the neutral voter out there who understands that the courts of law have barred Edgar Lungu? Or what is your next course of action as the PF and Tonse who have endorsed Edgar Lungu as the flag bearer in the 2026 elections? Do we have an alternative, or is there a decisive action that is going to be taken for him to be on the ballot?
Just looking at things in a very simplistic manner. First of all, one of the greatest, component to keep our society and country sane is that we must protect the judicial system. We must also demand that justice must not only be done, it must be seen to be done. What has happened about the eligibility of Edgar Lungu? We can't just walk away, because in doing so, we are legitimatizing the fraud that happened around the eligibility case in the Concord. The removal of judges was stage managed politically, because there is nowhere, whether in the Commonwealth or any other jurisdiction, that will justify how those judges were removed. And I'm saying this knowing that the UPND have orchestrated an arrangement where they don't want to be questioned. You are either arrested, jailed, or questioning legitimately the wrongs that the UPND are doing. So if we say the alternative in this case is another person outside without correcting the wrong in the Concord, we are being irresponsible citizens, irresponsible politicians. It's like we have accepted that Hakainde Hichilema willy-nilly can do whatever he wants to advance his political agenda and secure himself. It means at this particular point, by your argument, we should not prevent Hakainde Hichilema from amending the Constitution. And you know that Hakainde Hichilema is proposing the amendment of the Constitution to advance his interest. Zambians, wherever you are watching this program, the issue of eligibility of Edgar Lungu is not premise of the fact that we don't have alternatives. No. We are arguing that Edgar Lungu is eligible and he must be on the ballot if he so wishes to stand in 2026. Because as a citizen, to buy him in the manner they did was wrong. It's an injustice. So people should not, and should not create a narrative that because we are stuck. No, we are not stuck. It's just that what happened was wrong. The opposition have a right to choose a leader, even an alternative from Edgar Lungu, if we so wish. And if, for example, Edgar Lungu decides to say, I'm not going to run, you understand what I'm saying? Not because Hakainde Hichilema said Edgar Lungu should not run. That is unacceptable. HH should not dictate to us who his competitor is. What HH is trying to say and do, which you, the media, are not questioning, is that he wants to determine who he will compete with in 2026. The Zambian people are demanding a rebel. Even if an individual, myself or anybody, didn't think that Edgar Lungu would compete in 2026, who are we to go against the will of the Zambian people? When the Zambian people say a rebel, who are you to question that? And who is HH to start saying, no, I can't compete against HH, against Edgar Lungu, and uses wrongly or abuses the levers of power that he has to manipulate a process to get Edgar Lungu, declared ineligible. That should not be accepted.
Now, I'm seeing a possibility of the court standing around that verdict.
If those judges have any conscience at all, they will listen to what I'm saying and they will confirm that whatever they decided to declare at that particular point, based on the law or otherwise, they may have to reconsider the position. Should
that not be done, Secretary General, we will have a situation where we would be reaching the 2026 elections and the verdict would still be sealed. Edgar Lungu will not be.
Unfortunately, the Court has decided to open themselves up. The principle, based on the constitutional provisions of the law.
Is it not a court of finality?
That is what was the case until they opened themselves to further litigation. We had Solicitor General Mashom Chender submitting in the Concord that when it comes to eligibility case, even if it's 1 million citizens, they can come here, litigate, and the court can revisit his decision. And the court fell into that trap. You understand what I'm saying? In this case, it means that you can ask the same question several times in the Concord. What will be the basis for which this court can say it's a court of finality when it revisited a decision which was decided more than 4 times? They have undressed themselves. They have gone against the provision of the Constitution. And we are on terra firma to criticize this court, from the perspective of the fact that they undressed themselves. That decision was made consistently 4 times. Then they came to reverse the decision after the judges have been removed and new judges have been put in place. It can never be acceptable anywhere. So we are saying they have no choice but to look at this matter. Not to look at this matter from the perspective of the interest of Hakainde Hichilema. Hakainde Hichilema has been told by the intelligence here, has been told by his friends and others, that he is not able, as it was reported in News Diggers, that he is not able to garner more than 50% or 30% of. So to that effect, he's desperate.
This is DJ Mutati exclusive.
Alright, that's all for you today, lovely viewers. If you did enjoy the video, please don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about the video you just watched in the comment section below. I'll be super glad to hear from you, lovely viewers. Once again, I go by the name of Mutati Mpundu. I love you, peace, I gotta go.